Hi, okay, let's continue with the fenders of the car. So I want to start out by moving this 3D cursor that is called. The place where this is where the new objects will appear. So to do this, I select the car body, press tab to enter edit mode, then press 1 to enter vertex mode. You can see the different modes up here, and then I want it around here. So let's press shift+s and then choose cursor to selected like that, and then exit edit mode. So we press tab, then we press shift+A and add a torus because this looks the most like a fender, and I want to rotate it around Y, so 90 like that. I don't want this to have so many segments. I actually just wanted to have 12 major segments, and I wanted to have 7 minor segments. Yes, something like that. And then I used to change the dimension mode to exterior and interior because I think it's easy to control. And then I press tab to enter edit mode. We can look upon it from the side, and let's enter X-ray mode. So Alt Z, let's select these ones, X to delete the vertices like that. Great. And right now it's kind of in the car, so we want to change this, but we also want to change some other stuff. Let's start by right clicking and change this to shade smooth like that. And then we go to add some modifiers, and we want to add a mirror modifier, and we want the mirror modifier to mirror over the car like this. Great. And let's move it out a bit, so GX, something like that. And we can see that it's a little bit too big, so we can scale it down. And I wanted to have it wider, so S for scale, in X, yeah, something like that, in G and X, and I want it smoother, so let's add a subdivision surface, and we can change the level of the viewport view to 2. So now it's really smooth and nice, but we actually want to enter edit mode, and we press number 3 just to be able to select the faces, and we press Alt left click, Alt left click and hold Shift and Alt left click, and I rotate by holding middle mouse button and Alt Shift and left click. And all of these faces I want to delete, so X, delete faces like that. Great. And we can exit edit mode, and right now it's super thin, this fender, so we need to change that. So we add another modifier, so add a solidify modifier, and now you can see it's getting thicker, so you can change this to your liking, but I like the default value. Okay, let's look at the placement of this. So I want to have a little more here, I think, and I want to have a duplicate in the back, so let's just enter edit mode. So let's press tab and then select everything by pressing A, and then shift D to duplicate, and press Y to drag it over here somewhere. Yeah. And now we can enter vertex mode, so we press number 1, and we can actually delete these. And now it's just up to your own design how you want your fenders to look. So we delete the vertices like that, and I maybe want them a little bit further back like that. And the one in the front, I want to do the same, but in the front instead, so we delete these like that. Great. And I maybe want this a little bit back. Okay, great, but I think it could be a little bit wider, and I think we could, if you look upon it from the top, we can select these and press G and X and just drag it out like that. Okay, and we want to change the material, so let's add a material. We want the red car paint here as well. Okay, great. So have the fenders, and now we need to have the wheels. So look upon this from the side. Yeah, and we can use this 3D cursor point now as well. So let's press Shift A to add another torus, and let's rotate it around Y again, so 90 degrees. And I want this to be the exterior to be a bit smaller, something like that, and the interior to be something like that. And yeah, and let's move this, so G and X. Whoops, let's look upon it from the front instead. So G, X, put it here, and scale in X. And I want this part, let's shade smooth first, and I want this part to go up. So let's press Alt and left click, and let's scale it down. So let's look from the side and scale it up to something like that. Great. And we want to add a modifier. We want a mirror. I want it to mirror over the car body like that. And we want a subdivision surface like that. Great. So let's put it in the center again. Let's check so the wheel placement seems to be good. Yeah, something like that. So let's look upon it from the side, and let's drag it over somewhere here. And I want it to be bigger, much bigger. So something like that. Yeah, now it looks really cartoonish. Maybe out a little bit. Now it works. And I want to add some features, and I want to let's press face select and Alt left click these and X to delete the faces in there. And let's select this ring, Alt left click, and then E and S and drag it in, and E and S, and let's move those vertices out a little bit, and E and S, and E and S, and move them in just to get some nice pattern. E and S and F to fill that. Yeah, something like that. So let's add some material, and as before we just add some really simple materials, and let's call this rubber. Great, and I want it to be black, and actually this actually looks fine from the beginning, so let's work with that. And then we want another material. Let's call that, let's choose the rubber again, and let's call this rubber, whoops, let's take a copy first by using this button here, and let's call it rubber white. And then let's enter edit mode by pressing tab, pressing 3 to only select faces, Alt left click that and assign, and let's change this black color to a white color. Great. And I want it to be some kind of metallic steelish color here, so let's press this plus to add another material, and we want a new, and let's call this steel. But I just realized we already have a steel material, so let's choose that. So we take the steel and we press tab, and let's select, whoops, Alt left click, whoops, Alt left click, Shift Alt left click on all of these rings like that, and then select the steel and press assign. Yeah, cool. And then we want to take these tires to duplicate them, so Shift D and move to the back, so Y, and drag them over here somewhere. Great. They look a bit crazy, and I thought that we didn't need to fix this hole, but as you can see, we can see it. But let's fix the design a little bit. So let's select the wheels and the fenders and move it up. So G, Z, move it up like that. So sheet a little bit here. Yeah. But okay. Anyhow, let's fix the wheels. We cannot have this strange hole here. So let's press 1 and select these vertices, and then E and X to extrude. Oops, and I realized that the modifier is not applied correctly. We want the clipping to be activated on the mirror. So let's check that, the clipping, and then GX, and you can see it will stop at the middle. And let's add another loop cut. So Control R and add a loop cut and move back like that. Great. And let's add another, change the material. So let's press number 3 and select all of these and change this to the steel like that. Yeah, it will do. And we can delete these tires and just move the other ones back. So Shift these and Y. Great. Okay. Now we need some kind of headlights, right? Okay, so to add the headlights, I want the headlights to be up here somewhere. So I just press Shift and right click, and we can move it, and you can to move the 3D cursor. So now we can press Shift and right click over here. You can see it moved to the place where we want the headlight to be. So press Shift A, and we want to have something that kind of look like a headlight from the beginning. I think we go with the US rear. Okay, so there are a lot of faces here, and we don't want that many. So let's check to change this to 10 and this also to 10. And I actually think we can lower it even more. So 8, great. And the rings we can change to 6. Yeah, great. And now we want to rotate it around X, so 90 degrees. Yeah, and if we look upon it from the side, enter edit mode, and we can only select vertices, press 1, and we select all of these and press X and delete. And now we can shade smooth, and let's scale it down. And I want it to be a little bit more pointy. So let's select these, and we can drag G and Y. And we could have used another tool, but G and Y like that. And let's add some modifiers, like a mirror modifier and a subdivision modifier. And change this to 2. Oops, and something is wrong because the mirror modifier is not working correctly. So let's mirror the object over the car body. Like that, great. So right now the lights look way too small. So let's change this. So press S to scale them up. And you decide how big you want your lights to be, so I think this size would work. Need to add some details, and I think we could move it down a little bit like that. Yeah, and I think it's maybe okay if it's hovering a little bit. But anyhow, let's add a material to start out with. Let's add the red car paint, and I want it to be, yeah, let's select these ones and press E and Y and drag them out and scale it down a little bit. I want this part to be the steel part, so E and S and E and S. So E and S and G and Y. I think you get it, how you can shape it now. So E and S. And I think we could, we can select these 4, F, select these 2, F, and Control R, whoops, Control R, these two like that, and now we have 4 vertices. We don't want that, and we can select these 4, so F. Great. So let's add a material. So add another material that should be steel. Select the part that should be steel. So enter edit mode and press 3 to phase select this one and assign. Great. And now we need a new material, a light. So let's press the plus sign, and then let's see, we don't have any light, so let's press a new one. And I want the light to be kind of yellow, and we can apply the material and then fix the light thing later on. So let's press Alt, left click this one and this one, and I want that, and that. So let's select this one and assign, and let's call this front light. Oops, lights. Great. So right now it's just yellow, and we don't want that. We want this to actually glow. And to do this, we need to change the emission. So the emission is the color of the light. So you can see here, if we start to change here, it changed the way it will glow. So we want it to be yellow, and the emission strength is how bright the light should be. So let's change it maybe to 5. Yeah. And this red ring is not correct, so let's fix that. So select, tab, and I think it is this that's wrong. So change the material to steel. No, let's change it to front light. Much better. Okay, so now we have front lights. I want it to be attached somehow, so let's lower it down. Let's enter wireframe mode, so G and Z, and drag it down. And how does it look? We can actually take it even lower, X and Z. Yeah, it works as a cartoon car, so it's okay. And we also want to have some kind of backlights. So we can actually just take these lights, Shift D and Y, and then rotate it. So R and Z and 180. And let's look from the back, and I want it to be somewhere actually down here maybe. Yeah, so we need to fix where it is. So enter wireframe mode, maybe put them here. How does that look? Yeah, I think that looks okay. So now when we have these selected, we need to change the front light. So let's select this, duplicate this material, and change this to backlights. And the backlights should be red, I think. And you see I changed the base color, but nothing happened. So let's change the emission to red, and I want it darker. Starting to look like a strange part, but it's okay. Okay, great. So thank you for watching this Blender beginner tutorial of this cartoon car. And if you don't want to miss the next part, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.